Have you ever looked at someone in a position of power, maybe your boss, a politician, or a CEO, and thought, how on earth did they get there? They're selfish, manipulative, maybe even cruel, and yet they thrive. Meanwhile, good, honest, hard-working people seem to struggle in the shadows. Why? Why does it so often feel like the worst people rise to the top? Believe it or not, this question isn't new. It's been around for centuries, and one of the most controversial thinkers to tackle it was the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. His ideas about power, morality, and success were bold, unsettling, and sometimes misunderstood. But they also reveal a harsh truth about human nature, that what we call virtue and what actually leads to success are often two very different things. Today, we're diving deep into Nietzsche's philosophy and the psychology of power. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the worst people seem to succeed and whether there's anything we can do about it. Let's start with a hard truth. Being a good person doesn't necessarily get you ahead. In fact, sometimes it does the opposite. Think about it. Qualities like kindness, humility, and fairness are great for building strong communities, but they don't always translate to personal success. Why? Because power often rewards different behaviors. Nietzsche called this the difference between slave morality and master morality. Slave morality values compassion, patience, and selflessness, traits that help the weak survive. Master morality, on the other hand, values strength, ambition, and the will to dominate. And guess which one tends to win when it comes to climbing the social ladder? It's not that being good makes you weak, but the systems of power we live in often reward those who prioritize their own interests. In many cases, the people who rise to the top are the ones willing to break the rules, manipulate others, and put their own success above everything else. For Nietzsche, the driving force behind human behavior wasn't morality. It was what he called the will to power. This isn't just a hunger for control. It's the fundamental drive to grow, assert influence, and shape the world around you. And the people who succeed, they often have this will in abundance. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. The will to power doesn't always care about fairness or kindness. It cares about strength, effectiveness, and results. That's why people who are ruthless, ambitious, and unapologetic often get ahead. They're playing the game with a different set of rules, one that prioritizes power over principle. But before you start thinking Nietzsche was just advocating for selfishness, there's more to it. The will to power isn't inherently evil. It's about self-actualization. It's the drive to become the strongest, most authentic version of yourself. The problem is that some people twist that drive into a thirst for domination, and those people often climb the ranks faster than anyone else. So why does this keep happening? Why do we keep seeing selfish, manipulative people succeed? Part of the answer lies in psychology. Traits like narcissism and Machiavellianism, part of what psychologists call the dark triad, are often linked to success. These individuals are confident, strategic, and willing to take risks that others won't. But there's also a societal element. In competitive environments, whether it's politics, business, or entertainment, the people who prioritize power and self-promotion often outmaneuver those who play fair. They know how to take credit, shift blame, and present themselves as stronger and more capable than they really are. And unfortunately, those are the traits that systems of power often reward. Does this mean that good people are doomed to fail? Not necessarily. Nietzsche's philosophy isn't about giving up on morality. It's about recognizing the reality of power dynamics. If you want to succeed without losing your integrity, you need to balance strength and virtue. That means developing your own will to power, not through manipulation, but through confidence, resilience, and the courage to stand up for your values. It means being strategic without being ruthless, and ambitious without being selfish. And sometimes, it means knowing when to walk away from systems that reward the worst kinds of behavior. But there's more to it than just balance. Good people often underestimate the importance of visibility and assertiveness. It's not enough to work hard and hope someone notices. You have to advocate for yourself. You have to communicate your value and take credit for your achievements without fear of seeming arrogant. This doesn't mean abandoning humility, but it does mean understanding that humility alone won't get you ahead. It also requires the willingness to face conflict. People who prioritize kindness sometimes avoid confrontation, but standing up for yourself and setting boundaries is a form of strength. Power isn't just about domination. It's about having the presence and resolve to protect your own interests without compromising your principles. At the end of the day, power isn't inherently good or evil. It's a tool, and the people who succeed are often the ones who know how to use it. But understanding power doesn't mean you have to become one of the worst people to get ahead. It means recognizing what's really at play and making a conscious choice about the kind of person you want to be. Power can be wielded with integrity, but that requires self-awareness and discipline. It's about knowing when to push forward and when to hold back, when to compromise and when to stand your ground. This isn't always easy. In fact, it's often the harder path, but it's also the one that leads to lasting respect and influence. One of the biggest mistakes good people make is assuming that power corrupts everyone equally. But the truth is, power only amplifies what's already inside you. If you approach it with empathy and wisdom, it becomes a force for positive change. If you approach it with selfishness and fear, it becomes destructive. The challenge is learning how to stay true to your values while navigating the pressures and temptations that come with success. This also means redefining what success actually looks like. Is it just about wealth, influence, and status? Or is it about the impact you leave on others and the legacy you build? Power used for personal gain may rise quickly, but it often falls just as fast. Power used with vision and integrity, on the other hand, builds something that lasts. So the next time you see someone succeed through selfishness or cruelty, remember this: their rise to power doesn't make them admirable. And if you choose a different path, one of strength, integrity, and authenticity, you may not always rise as fast. But when you do, you'll know you did it without losing your soul. Because in the end, the truth about power isn't just about who gets it, it's about how you choose to use it. So, is Nietzsche right about power and morality? Do the worst people really succeed more often? Or are we just more likely to notice when they do? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more deep dives into philosophy and psychology, don't forget to like and subscribe.